will keep the other half. And then once we have sold all the cards, it's going to end. We're going to do the drawing at about 7:30. So you have to get your card before 7:30. Then what's going to happen is we're going to do a drawing for the winner. All right. But this is what happens. So when we draw the card, all right, so if it's your card that's picked, you have the option to buy a prize. And this is the prize. The prize is a total wine more tasting. This is where you can bring 20 people. It's valued at $500. We'll offer it to you at $200 if you're pulled as a winner. Or you can try your luck in a 50-50 wrap. If you're the winner, you can buy it right for $200. It's yours. Or you just say, no, I want to try my luck in the 50-50 raffle. Then we go to stage 2, the 50-50 raffle. We're gonna have our magician tonight, John Carly, who's gonna be running this.
What do you want
so then we're gonna start launching off the other ticket for the 50-50 raffle. If you're confused about this, we'll try to say it again. So don't worry. I was read it about 10 times. So anyways, basically just buy a card. Okay, let's see here. Social media challenge, by the way, I mentioned that, but one of the steps for the social media challenges is having a selfie with the Vera Aqua VAVV founder. So you gotta find him. So you know this guy named Jacob. He's wandering around somewhere, and you got to find him. You got to get a selfie with him. So get ready for that. Okay. Oh, and so why are we here tonight? To drink water and to make sure other people get water. So we're trying to raise $30,000 tonight. And I didn't get this approved, but I'm pretty sure we raised $30,000. Jacob's gonna let you dump your water glass on it or throw it into a bottle.
I didn't agree to that.
So, anyways, I think it's the MCM allowed to decide that. So if we get to $30,000, people, we can do amazing things, but we need your help to do that. So I'm going to give you an update. This is where we are right now. Because remember, people are on their sofas right now because they want to dress up. And so we have online bidding happening, but right now we're sitting at $12,637. Okay, now I'm not a math major, so but you can do the math. We're like almost halfway there, I think. That's how that works. So we just need to raise about half of those funds to get to our 30,000, and then we can torture Jacob. Okay, let's see here. I think we've gotten through all of our games. And yeah, so the next step is that we're going to have a prayer. We're going to watch the video, and then we're going to start having dinner. The way dinner is going to work, just so you know, is that ushers are going to come to your table and get you to go to the dinner line. So please don't rush over there right after the prayer. Just wait where you are. One of our ushers will tag you. During that time, I'm going to be giving some cool water facts for us to think about. And again, I didn't get this approved, but I'm thinking if any of you can guess some of the facts I'm saying, then maybe the ushers will let you go first to dinner. Okay, great. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce. Our the pastor, Father Marco. He's the pastor here at St. Mark's, and he's been a longtime advocate of Vera Aqua VAVV. He goes way back from when Jacob, I don't think was a little boy, but when he was just first thinking about the organization. Father Marco has been here in the Diocese of Dallas since 2010 and has faithfully served many parishes during his time here as a priest. And he's been serving here at St. Mark's since July of 2019. So we'll go ahead and actually, let's do a round of applause here.
Thank you, Pastor. And you all welcome on behalf of St. Mark. We're very happy to support Vera Aqua and then the efforts that are being done with the program to provide this clean water research. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Thank you, Lord, for the many graces and blessings you have placed in our lives. We offer you heartfelt gratitude for your countless gifts to us each day. In turn, dear Lord, help us to be aware of the needs of the least brothers and sisters, respond to those who are poor and less fortunate, with generous expressions of charity, kindness, and caring. That day, Lord, when we finally stand before you to give account of our lives, we pray that we will hear you say, "Become a good and faithful servants, to share your Father's joy. When you saw me hungry, thirsty, naked, homeless, ill, imprisoned, you offered your gifts in charity, and you lovingly did it for me." And together we pray. Bless us, O Lord. In these thy gifts, which are our house, by thy name, Christ our Lord. Amen. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. I hope you have a wonderful evening. I have to get back to the parish. We have an evening mass still, but certainly I hope you have a wonderful day.
All right, thank you, Father. And we are going to now watch that video to get us.
We are so excited today to get started on construction, breaking ground here in Las Mercedes, kilometer 11, on their water solution. We're excavating the site for the water treatment facility because, as you can see, let's show the people what we're looking at. As you can see, it's the actual desert out here. And so the people out here, they're having to walk like 4 or 5 kilometers round trip just to get water that looks like chocolate milk. So we're out here digging the site for a new water treatment facility.
I started hearing about VAVV about 2 years ago, and it took me a little while to actually understand and hear the whole mission out, but once I did, once I started going to talks, once I started receiving a lot more information, I started believing that this was actually a very necessary and powerful mission.
There's a lot of growth and opportunity here for their families here, and with that growth and opportunity, they're able to go with the Lord. They're able to go with the Lord. That's our main objective, I believe.
I got to come and do beautiful things like breaking ground on 2 new water treatment facilities, some things that are going to be incredibly important.
This is some groundbreaking, backbreaking work. I'm sweating, I feel good. I think everyone else feels good. We're about to do some work.
I always felt like I needed to do something for people, and the Lord kind of just put this in my path, and I'm really glad to see all the little things He's showing me here, things I didn't expect.
But here, it really sunk in, like how necessary water is for the most basic functions of life.
We've been going in and helping people break grounds on construction for 2 new water treatment facilities. The importance of that is absolutely massive.
To get this water, to create a clean and sustainable system for these people is just absolutely will be life-changing for the people here. And it's incredible to be a part of this work and see it, you know, we're breaking ground. It's really exciting, and hopefully we'll get to see it through to, you know, completion later this year. So, woo-hoo!
Just seeing the community and how they accepted us with love, and how they treated us with love, regardless of them knowing us, it inspired me. I saw God's love there.
It just made me really grateful. Like, we had a water break where, you know, we got like cold bottles of water and we were just drinking it, and it just made you realize that, like, man, we're giving the people the opportunity to have a break like this throughout the day, instead of having to, you know, walk and get their chocolate milk water, or go to the store and have to buy it. No, they're gonna have a plethora of water coming from the work we're doing today.
It's
It's been great, you know, just getting to interact with the people, digging and doing good work here for the community, you know. So, God be the glory.
It is about revival. It is about revival of the kingdom. It is about bringing souls into the kingdom, souls to love Jesus to the glory of God, so that when the gates open, there are more souls in there. That's what Lisa say. Revival, revival, life-giving water for revival.
Wow, awesome. Thank you so much, VAVV, for this mission. I'm going to go ahead and give you guys your first key code word that I mentioned. So, the word is quench. Quench. Okay, great. So remember, there's going to be two more words throughout this evening. You got to remember. And then, yeah, remember them all. Okay, so this is the time where ushers are going to start moving around to tag you with dinner. I want to say one more time to you about the Ace of Spades game, but I know it's a little confusing. Ushers, can you like hold up your cards? Like your cards, can you hold those up? Ushers, hold up your cards. Yeah, see, okay, there's our ushers. They're going to go around with this deck of cards, and you can purchase a card for $50. And then they rip the card in half. I know that sounds like a terrible deal, but what's going to happen is that card that they're going to keep, the half there, right, is going to go into this raffle, right? And the raffle again is for a prize of wine tasting at Total Wine and More. It's valued at $500. You're going to have like 20 friends. If you have to find friends that I think you can make friends in this for us. So yeah, so basically just buy a card for $50. I'm not going to go through all the rest of the steps because I think that's confusing. So just buy a card, and then at 7:30, our magician Giancarlo is going to assist us with the next card. So if you're a winner, you're going to get an option to buy the prize for a discounted price or to get it for free in a 50/50 raffle. Okay, so that's all you need to know right now. Just make sure you buy a card. They're going to have like credit cards. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to give you guys some card back. So raise your hand if you are a water expert.
She said when they go to front and said they go back, they sit, and then I said I can't do that. She didn't want them to go all of them at the same time.
Yeah, one tables at a time.
Yeah, she showed me the first two.
Cool, but you're the usher.
It doesn't matter.
Everyone else
Let's do first.
Okay, so the first water
Yes, Fernando. She said she wants those two to go first.
Water crisis is the number one global risk based on impact in society, and it's the number 8 global risk based on the likelihood of rain in years. So that's a pretty sobering water fact. By 2025, it's estimated that 1.8 billion people will live in areas plagued by water scarcity. I'm going to do a fun fact now. Fun fact. Can you hear me now? Oh, wow. Did you guys hear about the Ace of Spades? Or that? Yeah, okay, I can say it one more time. Okay. I had some fun water facts. I'm gonna ask people though. This is really fun. How much of your brain is made out of water? I heard 60. Okay. Close. 60 is close. Let's go higher. Let's go lower. Okay, so 70. You guys should have right over. Yeah, good. 70% of your brain is made out of water. I don't think VAVV takes water from rain, so I don't think that's how they do it. what percentage of illnesses in the developing world are water related? What percentage of illnesses in the developing world come from water related issues? 60%. Let's go higher. 80%. 80% of illnesses are water related in developing countries. Okay, how many glasses of tap water per day do Americans drink on average? 6. I heard 6. 6. We're going to have to go higher than 6. We're talking a cumulative number. In all of the United States, how many glasses of tap water are drunk every day? 10. We're up to 10. Let's go a little higher. Okay, how about 1 billion? 1 billion. 1 billion Okay, here's a fun fact. Americans use 5.7 billion gallons of water per day just from flushing the toilet. So maybe work on conserving that. I don't know. Okay, 2 billion people live without adequate sanitation. That's a third of the world's population. So there's another sobering fact there. And then Veracruz serves communities in Peru right now, specifically with the goal of expanding to other areas. But here's just some facts about Peru real quickly. Only 75% of rural communities in Peru have basic, that is simple but unmanaged. So only 75% of those rural communities have basic drinking water services or better. Only 56% of those rural communities have basic sanitation facilities. So just over half of them have basic sanitation facilities. And then the last fact there in Peru, 12% of children under the age of 5 have experienced chronic diarrhea from waterborne diseases. That's 12% of children under 5. So those are just some Peru facts. I also wanted to ask, has anyone been to Peru? Has anyone been to Peru? Do we have any? Yeah, good. Do we have any native Peruvians? Any native Peruvians? I think one of our ushers is a native Peruvian. Yeah. We have a native Peruvian. A native Peruvian right over there. Right over there. Okay, again, just a reminder, you have about 20 more minutes to buy a card for our Ace of Spades game. It's a little over 20 minutes. All right, this is a good question. If you are wanting to do the social media challenge, again, go to that QR code and the instructions for the social media challenge are on the website. But do remember, to be eligible to win the prize for the social media challenge, you have to get a selfie with Jacob Niemeyer. So try to find Jacob, get a selfie with him. and then make sure you're posting it to social media.
I forgot about this. The price is going to be a price. It's going to be a price for basic steaks.
It will be wine tasting for 20, sponsored by Total Wine.
We're gonna have our testimonial witness.
And you can just, it makes for a great, you can see like it makes for a great birthday celebration.
The amount for our fundraiser.
I sent it to you.
We're gonna get an update in just a second on what we've raised so far in fund. Remember to go online to do the bidding. That's our couch surfers. Video. While we are waiting for that update, I'm gonna go ahead and introduce our testimonial witness speaker. This is Kurt Clement, and Kurt Clement is he's been the executive director of Divine Renovation USA since 2021. And previously for the past 25 years, Kurt served in various roles at St. Anne's Parish Ministry, including the youth ministry, young adults, and overall the parish evangelization and discipleship at St. Anne's Hotel. And Kurt and his wife Jenny have 3 kids and 3 so let's give a round of applause for Alright, it's good news to all. I did get the memo about the black tie. I know the black tie, so I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much. So I worked for St. Anne I worked there for 25 years until about a year ago. I worked in youth and young adult ministry for a lot of that time. And one of the highlights for me was organizing different mission trips. Now, some people would say that mission trips weren't maybe necessary because we have the need for mission in our own backyard. You know, like we have enough need around us. Why do we need to go to Peru on a mission trip? But I really found that like getting out of our world and just seeing the broader world, the broader church, it actually opened people's hearts to then do mission and come back and to be more sensitive and more aware and more inspired for the needs actually in our own community. So it wasn't like an either or thing, you know, it was just so much fruit that people experienced through, it just unlocked something when people would go and experience something like a foreign mission trip. And that's what happened with Jacob early on. It unlocked something within him. And so over the years of working at St. Anne, I had the opportunity to work at several different mission trips. We used to go to Mexico. We took 150 to 200 youth and leaders to Mexico. And then when it became not safe, we then moved and had a mission trip to Laredo on the border. And then about 10 years ago, I helped organize and start a new mission trip, really targeting young adults to Peru. And the one thing that became so clear to me when you're here and you're at a church, or if you're an individual and you're trying to figure out like where to like plant yourself, where to invest your time, your money, your gifts, that you are utterly dependent upon the like ground team on the other side of where you're working with. And I'll never forget times in early years we were trying to schedule mission trips with the youth to Mexico. And we would do all that we could to communicate and like get ready to bring a bunch of youth. And we would show up at a work site and you would have a bunch of teenagers standing around because like the communication and people like trustworthy, like what they said they were gonna do, getting done. So like you just quickly realize that you're just so dependent. And I learned that in Mexico, that mañana, which I know is translated to tomorrow, I thought mañana meant mañana, tomorrow. But I quickly realized mañana didn't mean tomorrow necessarily. Mañana meant mañana. And so you would get there and there was this like, there wasn't this sense of like action and being ready. And so that was such a learning experience. And once again, we just realized that whenever you're trying to share your resources and be a missionary, whether with a group or as an individual, maybe you can't go out to other countries, but they maybe want to support missionary trips or missionary activity, that you're completely dependent on the partnerships, the organization, the trust that you have with the people on the ground. And so what was so beautiful about the trip to Peru that we launched about 10 years ago was we connected with a priest, an American-born priest, Father Joe Lewin. And his church was Santísimo Sacramento in Piura, Peru, northern Peru, very desert. You saw a lot of the pictures here. And when I learned about it, I was blown away because they have this missionary operation out of this parish that you were able to partner with to do medical mission, work in hospices, with schools, trade training, making deliveries of food, deliveries of clothing, helping build houses. And it was like, it was such a powerful partnership. And whenever there you would go, you would see like, you would say, here's how much money we have, $2,000. You'd say, $2,000, you can build 4 bamboo homes. It's $500 a home. And then you go down there and you would see that you would go with them to buy the bamboo and the tin and all of that. And you could see the price of it. And then you would go, this young couple who was trying to have their own little bamboo house apart from their family, and you're there and they're helping you to dig the holes and build the house. It was so powerful to see that connection. Or if you sponsored a family, you said, we're going to commit $30 a month to sponsor a family, you would go down there and see how they were gathering the food and then making the deliveries to help these families just like keep their head above water. And so that organization, the personal trust, it was like you believe in them and you will do whatever. You're all in because I want to be a part of the church. I want to be part of the world, and so that was a really powerful experience. But when I went to Santísimo Sacramento, and we would go out from the main town out to all of these different villages out in the desert, and there was this one place that always stood out. And once again, we're talking the poorest of the poor. We're talking bamboo, little forest bamboo with a tin house, tin roof, no electricity, no running water. I mean, this is like when they talk about the force of the poor, that's what this is. But this one community of all the communities that we would serve from Santissimo, Sacramento, was Monte Castillo. And this town, Monte Castillo, what stood out about Monte Castillo was their water situation. Because it was known that their water, their groundwater, was contaminated and it was high in salt. And so for people that had money enough to buy, their water deliveries would come around and they would fill up a 55-gallon drum, a plastic drum that they would have. They put a blanket over it to keep blood from getting in there. So that would be their water, the fresh water, their cooking, their washing, and their drinking water, which that was problematic. There was also a channel that ran alongside the town that was like an irrigation of some water, but it was really stagnant and nasty, and there were dead animals sometimes in it. But they would get in that and try to get water there. But water was a real problem there. And as a result, we would know that Monte Castillo was so different because of the water situation. There was chronic illness, and people were sickly, and the kids weren't as developed. And so our impact on like this town through the parish and Father Joe, they were doing incredible impact in the way that they were serving communities. But Monte Castillo was limited because of the water situation until God brought Jacob into the picture. And I remember Jacob was on the first or the second of the first young adult mission trips. But Jacob, who, if you don't know Jacob, who is the leader of VAVV, is the purest of hearted of souls. He was a young engineer graduate from Purdue working in engineering. He started having conversations with Father Joe, and he started having conversations with the community leaders of Monte Castillo. And I remember Jacob was wrestling with the call to leave his secure engineering jobs to launch into this as a ministry. And so I loved seeing that story unfold and was honored to be a part of it. And I'm honored to be here and to be a part of it, continue to be a part of it, and being a supporter of VAVV. So because of Jacob's hard work and beautiful spirit and just fighting spirit, he has made it possible that Monte Castillo, now they have a water treatment plant that draws water off of the irrigation channel, and they have fresh water in Monte Castillo. And it's like 10,000 people in this. It's hard to imagine, but this community now has fresh water because of Jacob's call, responding, saying yes to the Lord, and then to develop the mission of VAVV. And so it's like changing lives for generations to come. And so once again, I'm really excited. I'm convicted to, as I reconnect with the story of Jacob and Jared and VAVV, I'm convicted to really get behind him even more than we have. To really be rooting him on, be supporting him. Because I can't, as you think about here, we can't all go be missionaries, but we can get behind missionaries. We can think about and look at the people who are doing the Lord's work in a powerful way. And and I can't think of a more organized, a more impactful, and a more trustworthy organization to get behind and to support in sharing, in blessing people and serving the force of the poor. So thank you for having me. I'm excited to reconnect with Jacob, be a part of this tonight, and hope we can all be as generous as possible to help as he expands, I know, from 1 to now 3 communities and beyond, bring fresh water to communities in Peru and beyond. So thank you. so much, Kurt. Are you guys hearing me again? Paranoid now. Okay, awesome. We're about to go into a really fun transition here to just have some entertainment while you're eating. Before we get to that though, just real quickly, I want to make sure nobody missed that out there in the entryway, there is a liquor and a wine pool. So as far as I understand this means like you get a surprise bottle of either wine or liquor, or some kind of spirit. Yeah, and it's $20 I believe for the wine and $40 for the liquor. Yeah, it's, speakeasy, so you gotta keep it on the DL. But yeah, please go out there, check that out. And just one more reminder too, we have a bunch of games going on, but if you go back to that QR code in your program, you can find them again. So great. So our next event here that we're gonna have is our I was very excited about this. Besides the amazing cause that we're supporting, we get to watch a fantastic show by John Carlo, who's a magician. Let me just say a few words about John Carlo to introduce him here. Oh, and right before, sorry, Ace of Spades, guys, this is last chance. So if you were confused, you gotta buy one of those cards now, $50. If you're confused, just buy it anyways. So now let's go to, I'm going to introduce for you John Carlo here. He is a magician. He's an international performer who's performed for multiple television and radio appearances. He has read minds over Sirius XM. And he has even made a deck of cards disappear at the Microsoft Theater in Los Angeles. I was just wondering if our cards have disappeared because of. Okay. All right. At the Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, Indiana, he broke the law of physics while surrounded by 25,000 people. Let's go ahead and give it up for John Carlo.
Yeah? All right, I brought a balloon, so let's get the party started, okay? All right. I'm gonna start right here. Here, that's me. Hold on, balloon. I want you to think of a number between 1 and 50. Is the mic on, by the way? There we go. Yep. Number between 1 and 50. What number are you thinking of? Yeah, you say it out loud. Go ahead. The number 7. All right, go ahead and hand the balloon to anyone in the room. Someone you know, someone you don't know, totally up to you. Hand the balloon to someone in the room. Go ahead. Hey, how's it going? Nice to meet you. Can you think of a number between 1 and 50? The number 10, fantastic. Don't give the balloon to anyone in the room. That didn't seem random at all. I love it. So we have 7, we have 10. Now what's your number? 49. We have 7, 10, and 49. You go ahead and give the balloon to anyone in the room. Sir, your number. 1 and 50. 49. We already have 49. 48. 48. Okay. 48. We got one last number. Go ahead. This is the last person. So go ahead and give it to anyone in the room. Sorry, between 1 and 15. 13. We have 10, 7, 49, 48. We're 10, 7, 48, 49, and now 13. Start to 10 apart. Because you are the last person to learn. And I have a balloon popper. Because can you hold up the balloon that's really, really high? Can you just shake it up and down? Yeah, a little harder. You hear something in the balloon? You feel something in the balloon. Yeah, will you bring the balloon up here real quick? Let's give him a hand, everybody. Here, this is for you. This is the popper. I'll let you do the honor. Stand right here for me. Whenever you're ready, go for it. I'm not going to near that thing. You go ahead and pick up that piece of paper that just fell out of that balloon. Unfold it all the way for me. You tell everybody, first of all, what does this look like?
It looks like a Mega Millions lottery.
A Mega Millions lottery. You'll notice there are some numbers being printed on there. I've selected 5 specific numbers loudly so you can read out what those 5 numbers are.
7, 10, 13, 48, and 49.
Let's dial it back a little bit. Because I haven't properly introduced myself. My name is Giancarlo Bernini. Well, my full name is Giancarlo Jose Bernini, but not in a minute. My parents are from Costa Rica, which is why I have the long name. My grandpa is Italian, which is why I spelled super weird. I live here in Dallas. But many of you may not have ever been to an magic show before. Maybe the most magical thing you've ever seen, the most magical magic show you've ever seen could have been maybe on a stage in Las Vegas. Maybe though, it was when you were a little kid and you had a grandma with one of those big Mary Poppins purses, and anything you asked for, I'm hungry. The Kleenex here, I got one. Headache, Band-Aid, whatever you need. So let's do a little bit of a warm-up to kind of get into the state of mind of what watching magic is like. This is a metaphor for watching magic. It's a piece of rope. It's something very simple. Again, this isn't magic. This is just the warm-up. It's an idea to get your brain used to watching magic. Now, the piece of rope has three parts. It's got two ends and it's got a middle. That's an end over here, an end over here, and a middle right here. Three things to keep track of. Watch carefully. You take the ends, you tie them into a knot, just like so. You get what a kindergartner would call a circle. You take the only kind of scissors that a kindergartner should be allowed to have. And you can actually cut the rope. That got weird real quick. Sorry, I said we're going to keep it simple. This actually complicates things. Because now we've got two pieces of rope. That's two ends on the top, two ends on the bottom, two middles in the middle. If I hold the ends together, you can see both middles in the middle, but you can't really tell which middle belongs to which end. I'll fix that. If you stretch the piece of rope a little bit, you can actually get both pieces of rope the exact same size. Yeah. No, yeah, it's a little bit complicated. Let's start over. Piece of rope, two ends in the middle, all right? So. I get what might be confusing you is this. You take the ends, it's a lot to keep track. You got ends in the middle. So let's do that. I'll take the ends of my left hand, the middle of my right. That's your left and my right. Don't let that confuse you. Take the magic scissors again, cut the rope again, but you've already seen me do that way. Let's do this. I'll take the pieces just like this, tie them into a knot like that. And what we end up with is something that acts like a piece of rope. Just imagine this is a piece of rope just swinging around. If you ignore the big ugly part here in the middle, it just kind of feels like a piece of rope. But the more you think about it, the more confusing it gets, because now you realize that you've got a piece of rope with two ends on each end, two ends in the middle, and the middle is about a quarter of the way from each end. Sorry, I said we keep it simple. It's just a warm-up guy here. Get those ends to disappear from the knot. Get the knot to disappear from the rope. It's just a piece of rope with two ends in the middle. Slow it down. I said we're going to keep it simple. Three things to keep track of. Let's bring it down to one. That's the most confusing part. It's got an end here, an end here, and a middle here. Three things to keep track of. Let's take this. We'll just take the ends and take the ends off the rope. Yeah, two ends on a rope and a rope with no end. Yeah, the problem is you can see the ends all the time. You take the ends and all the time. You try to walk in the middle. You take it and you put them back on the rope just like that. That's just. I get it. The problem is you can see the ends. So if I take the ends and put the ends in my pocket, you can see them go in my pocket. You know where they are, but they don't confuse you anymore. Because you know that they're in my pocket, you don't have to keep track. So they snap, that's the middle of my pocket, it's two ends up in my hand. That's the piece of rope with two ends and a middle. Here in Poland, make sure that there's no flat, elephant, trapdoor, smoke machine. This is just a normal piece of rope, yes? This is a straight normal piece of rope. Thank you so much. Now, this is the part where I get asked questions, which is there anybody in this room who has never been able to solve one of these? You've never been able to solve one of these? No? Mix it for me. Just go in there. Selena, mix up the key for me. Just keep mixing it, and actually keep mixing it as you make your way up to the front here. Let's give her a hand. We keep it together, okay? I'm not going to tell you the cube is going to solve itself. I'm not going to tell you you're going to solve the cube. All I'm going to say is I want you to imagine what it might feel like to mix the cube and accidentally solve it, okay? You go ahead and take the cube, put it behind your back, and start mixing. Well, everyone counts us down. Yes, you need to do that. Everyone count us down from 10. Go for it. 10, 9, That's fair. Remember I said, it's just a hypothetical. Well, let's see how you did. Show us a cube. Okay, that would be cool though. But here's the thing about the cube, is that I didn't play with the solution. See, people assume that a mixed cube looks like this, and a solid cube looks like the same color on all sides. But that's not what I was going for at all. See, right? You take one cube and hold it like this, and I take the other one, the one that you mixed, and I hold it just like that. I don't know if you can see. Cube have look exactly the same, not just on that side, but also on side number 2 and side number 3. All 4 sides, 5 sides, 6 sides. Let's get for a huge hand, everybody. I know there's some skeptics out there who are like, he didn't solve the cube. So for those of you who are skeptical, this is a cube mixed up with one hand. Without looking, while saying the alphabet backwards, CY XWBUT SRQP ONMOK JIHGF EDCB. Wow! Woo! We're going to get into the part where we need some audience participation. Therefore, I am going to ask you people to pick some cards. So I'm going to come, yeah, I'm going to come to this side of the room. Hello, you're being volunteer. You're both volunteering each other. Since you're both volunteering each other, with the two of you make your way up here for a second. Let's give them a hand as well. We're going to have to select a card. First of all, I'd like you to verify these cards are all different. They are all shuffled, yes? I'll show the audience as well, but in case you can't see if you're sitting a little further back, they are here to verify that they're mixed up, they are shuffled. We're going to go through and have each of you say stop wherever you like. Make sure I stop exactly where you tell me. Don't let me go too many cards forward or back. Make sure I stop exactly where you say stop. Go ahead. Are you sure? Positive. Do you want to change your mind? I don't want you to lie awake tonight and wonder what would have happened if I had picked a different card. Okay? No, that's fair. That's fair. Remember that. Remember that. You changed your mind. All right, you're gonna wish you had it. Go ahead. Stop anywhere you want. Are you sure? Be positive. This is the one you want. You want the one right here. Are you positive? Are you sure? Like this one right here. This one. Take the card. Don't trust me. Make sure you know what it is. Same here. Stop me anywhere. Stop. Are you sure? You can change it. Are you okay? Are you like I'm being serious. Are you sure? Look how confident he is. All right, take the card. Or you can have the second one. Or you can have the one down here. Okay. All right. Here's your card. You go ahead and take your card back anywhere you like. Are you sure? Are you sure? You don't have to put it there. You're sure? Hold on to your card. That's okay. Just hold it against your card. We're going to get to yours in just a second, all right? Now, the cards are all shuffled. They're all different. You can see that they're still shuffled different. Don't tell me if you see your card. I'm going to go through every card one by one. I'm just going to look at your face when you're looking at the card, okay? Hold on to the cards. Think about your card. Can you see the word red out loud? Say black. The black card, correct? The card you picked, yeah. Say spade. Say club. Did you notice how our voice is a little higher? Club. Count to 10 out loud for me. Can you count to 10 out loud? Thanks for confirming before you did it. That was really funny until the moment she got serious when she was counting. Did you notice that shift? Right around the 6 and the 7. Can you say the word 6? Say 7. Was your friend 7 club? Yeah, let's see your hand. Thank you so much for helping out. But I'm gonna ask you to stay up here for just a second because you have a card you're holding on to. And are you sure you don't want to change it even now? Okay. Because the thing about this is that once you know how to read people, you can actually learn how to influence. When every single time I asked you, you want to change your mind, did you feel like you could have? Like you had that free choice to do it? Did you also feel like you said stop exactly where you wanted me to stop? And I stopped exactly where you wanted me to stop. All right, everybody pull out your phones. Go to Instagram. Pull out your Instagram. Go to Bernini Magic. If you don't have an Instagram, go near someone who does. Bernini Magic. That's BERNINI Magic. Because weeks ago, in the third row, it's the 9th photo, last photo on the third row. If you pull up Instagram, BERNINI Magic. There's a picture of me holding a single playing card. Bernini Magic. BERNINI Magic. There's a picture of me holding a single playing card. Third row, last photo. I don't want you to say it yet, but turn on your flashlight. Turn on your phone flashlight if you have it pulled up. Turn on your phone flashlight if you've got it pulled up. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 flashlights in the room. That's good enough. We'll pick your cards here. You could have chosen any single one of these cards. On the count of 3, everyone, yell out the card that's on the Instagram that I'm holding. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, everybody. This is the part where he lies awake tonight. We're gonna take it a couple notches further. I'm gonna need a couple of people at random. This side of the room over here. Right here, Great Deco. Adam, I want you to talk before. Have we ever met? You have no idea, like this is for real. All right, I need you to pick any random 3 people from your table or from other tables. Totally up to you. I need you to pick 3 people. He's 1. All right. In the black right here. 1, 2, 3. Oh, right here. Would the 4 of you come up here for a second? I'm going to ask all of you to think something real quick. Can the 4 of you think of what I call a mental doodle? What a mental doodle is something you draw on a notebook to your board. Maybe like a flower, a tree, a house, something simple. But maybe it's not something that'll slip away who you are. Does that make sense? All right. So like, it's not something that somebody would look at it and go, "Oh, I knew." So think of something simple. Simple. I'm going to give you 5 seconds to think of something. And now you were the last person to come up. So I'm going to ask you to do something different. Can you think of the name of a family member? Okay. Now think about this family member's name. Actually, think of a friend. Think of a friend. Who's not in this room. Think of a friend. This might work better. I have some note cards, some Sharpies, some envelopes. Pass out the Sharpies. You in a moment going to draw whatever you were just thinking of. But on your note card, I'm actually going to ask you to do something a little bit different. You write your friend's name on the note card. And when you're done filling this out, bring it back, but face down with your other hand on top of it. That way I can't see any of what you've written. Okay? And would you go over into maybe the option room? That way I can't see anything you're writing while you do it. Okay. Go ahead. And, now the rest of you, note cards for each of you. Go ahead and as soon as I turn away, I'm going to ask you to draw your doodle on the blank side. The line that doesn't have the line on the blank side. Draw your doodle and start drawing now. Now, if you've ever sat in a room with people, maybe you're in the thinking of right, and you ever wondered what it might be like to read your mind. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Ghostbusters, the original Ghostbusters. Yeah, there's that scene at the very beginning where the people are thinking of images or symbols, and there's somebody else in the room trying to pick up on it, trying to like read their mind and figure out what symbol or what image they're thinking of. That's exactly what we're going to draw. It's different that's gonna help us between left brain and right brain thinking. Left brain being analytical, numbers, letters. Right brain thinking things like pictures, creative.
If she doesn't have a chair,
It's gonna be kind of like a light effect or a metal detector.
someone else wants to.
So artists, I'm gonna give you 5 seconds. Are they done yet? No, all right, 5 seconds. 4, 3,
Oh, no,
2,
sorry, never mind.
1. Artists, put your markers down. So I'm gonna turn around. Do not let me see your drawings. So hold them against you, hide them, do whatever you need to do so that I cannot see your drawings when I turn around. I'm turning around now.
Lead them to the QR.
May each of you hand you an envelope. I'll look at your Sharpie. Sure you capture something. Try not to look. You keep your drawing or you keep your drawing out. Go ahead and take your drawings, place them inside of the envelope. You do not need to seal the envelopes or lick them. Just go ahead and place them inside of the envelopes. Are you ready, Bill? I'll push your Sharpie well first. And we're going to take yours, place it inside of an envelope as well, keeping it face down. That way I can see what's happening. Now, would you mix it up with all of theirs? That way you don't know which one's yours. I need you to lose track. So each of you, please hand her your envelopes. And once you have all of them, start mixing. Mix, 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 however you want to mix. And we're going to use this. Now, keep in mind your drawing. All right, and that's your one step forward. All right. We're good. Think about your drawing. Do you have all the envelopes mixed? Do you know which one's yours? Perfect. Go ahead and just pick one up and just hold it up in the air. Interesting. You went for the top one. All right. First, we're going to try to figure out which one is yours. And I do not believe that this one's yours. Now, if I do get this right, there's only a 3 out of 4 chance. There is a 3 out of 4 chance I'd be right. Only 1 out of 4 chance I'd be wrong. So the odds aren't amazing. But I still don't think it's yours, and it's not. But now we have to try to figure out who this belongs to. Little race car. Or just a regular car. Let's get a race car. Put your hand in front of you like you're holding like the steering wheel of a car. Alright. That's pretty great. You're driving a golf cart. You're it's because he's tense, because he's nervous. It's your friend. Let's give him a hand. Go ahead and mix those up a little bit more. You know, by the way, that you can actually tell something about people by the way that they mix envelopes? Yeah, really. Like, I can tell you're a pretty confident person. You're up here mixing envelopes in front of a crowd, which is something you probably never thought you'd do in your life. Yeah. And also, you're probably born closer to the end of the year. Is that correct? Now, have you ever met? No. And you selected her at random. You know her. No. You don't know him. Count to 5 out loud for me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You were born like November, December, is that correct? Would I be correct to say you were born like December 22nd, 23rd?
Yes.
Perfect. Which one?
23rd.
December 23rd, perfect. Mix those up a little bit more. Not yours. Let's see if I'm right. We're getting closer. And it's not. The Nintendo Switch. You labeled it for me.
Hey, we have one of those in the auction room. Shameless plug.
Let's open up another one. I think this one might actually be yours. Can you just drop it on the floor? I don't want to open it just yet. Let's open the last one, see if we're correct. And it seems we are. A fish on a fish line. That's Nintendo Switch and fish. Yes. Let's give all of our artists a huge who are you here with? Who are you here with? Okay, whole family. Okay. They have a Nintendo Switch. And we still have an envelope left on the floor. You wrote down a friend's name. Can you think of the name of the friend you wrote down? This is really weird. I'm getting like 2 names right now. Are you only thinking of your friend's name? No, now you are. All right. I'm sorry. Does the name like Miriam mean anything to you? Something like that? Yeah. Who's that? I'm sorry. Your sister. That's not the friend thing you wrote down. Okay. That's what. Wait, hold on. Earlier, when I asked you to think of the name of a family member, then I had you change your mind. Did I ask you to think of a family member? Were you thinking about your sister? Yes. Okay, great. Stop thinking about your sister's name. Just your friend's name. Would you consider yourself to be more of a right-brain person than a left-brain person? Yeah, more creative? Yeah. This is probably why I'm having such a hard time, because we're thinking about letters here. So stop thinking about your friend's name. I want you to imagine you're hanging out with them. Imagine you're hanging out with your friend, you're having a good time. In fact, imagine you're at your dream vacation spot. So wherever you'd most like to go in the world, you're there with your friend. Oh, this is interesting. She's thinking more about the place now than her friend. In fact, here, check this out. Definitely a right-brain person. Don't say this out loud. Do not say this out loud. This is my guess. Do not say it out loud. This is my guess. Out loud so everybody can hear you. Where in the world are you imagining you're hanging out with your friend? And you're in France, and you look over, and you see your friend, and you say, hi to, don't say the name, just think it. All right, you got it. Out loud, what is the name of the friend you wrote down on that note card? Go ahead. Say it.
Elizabeth.
Thank you, everybody. What was it? Sorry, you had different instructions up. All you had to do was write down a friend's name. All they had to do was draw a mental doodle. But you had to write down a friend's name. But we clearly discovered that you're more of a right-brain person. An emotional name, someone close to you, your sister came up to the top first, and then we had France and all that. I want you to think about the mental doodle you were thinking of, okay? Normally this is the end of the script, but if we can do then I think you might get it. You remember when I asked everybody to think of a mental doodle? Do you remember your mental doodle? Just imagine just drawing that in the air, okay? For these, I don't always get exactly what it is. I get like the general idea, general shape, general, so I don't know exactly what this is. Hopefully it'll make sense. But this is I'm committed to this. If you draw whatever it was you were just thinking of, as large as you can, so everyone can see it. Draw whatever it is you were just thinking of. Yeah, let's start this from you. Would you turn it around and show everybody what is it? Oh, it's a dress. So much better than the way I did. No, really, because I didn't get it that nice, but I think I got pretty close. I got a general idea of I would say this. Probably these minor skills never come in handy. The answer is no. Well, sometimes, like for Christmas or someone's birthday, you can try to figure out what they want. Like, wait, December 23rd. You guys, is it okay if we try one more thing? Is that okay? Yeah. Okay. Think about what you want for your birthday. Now, is this something? Have you ever told me what you wanted for your birthday? I mean, obviously you just met. We've never. Is there anybody here at this event that I could have asked and be like, hey, what do you think he wants for her birthday? And they would have told me this specific thing. No. Think about what you want for your birthday. Oh, that's nice. I like this. I like this. Out loud, so everybody can hear you. What are you thinking of? What do you want for your birthday? A miraculous medal? Oh. That's what I thought. I've been doing magic for the short bit of time there, full time, but I've been interested since I was a kid. And magicians, we all get together at these large conventions. In fact, I'm headed to one tomorrow morning. I'm flying to Las Vegas for the country's largest magic convention. One of the things we always talk about is what makes magic magic. And the truth is that it's not impossibility. It's not the most impossible thing. What makes magic magic is when you give someone a feeling of joy and wonder. That's why the grandma that reaches into her purse and pulls something out exactly what you needed. We have this thing called the sandwich theory. If someone says, I'm really hungry, I really want a ham and cheese sandwich, and someone says, here, pick a card, and they do an impossible magic, you didn't do anything for them. You amuse them. But if you said, okay, and made a sandwich here, that's the perfect magic. Because you fulfilled the need. That's real magic. We don't measure magic by possibility. We measure by joy and wonder. As a Catholic, I have tweaked that a little bit to truth, beauty, and goodness. I measure it by the idea of an illusion presented theatrically for entertainment. Illusions are all about discerning what's true. Theater's about showcasing something beautifully. Entertainment's about doing something good for someone else. Finding truth, beauty, and goodness, and sharing that with other people in a meaningful way. The sandwich here, a meaningful way. And so, I want you to notice, like, all this magic that I'm doing, it's cool. But I can't think of anything more true, beautiful, and good, and meaningful than what we're here for in this room tonight. And that's probably the most magical thing happening tonight. Overcoming odds to create something true, beautiful, good, and meaningful for people who need it. And yeah, it might not be impossible, but we don't measure magic from possibility. It's possible, and it's possible because of all of you. So, keep that in mind as we go into the final part of my time with you, which is the Ace of Faith game we've been hearing about. Ooh. So, do we have our entries? Because I'm not a raffle, I'm not a professional raffle ticket. I'm not a professional raffle ticket puller. I am also not a professional auctioneer, but I am a magician, and so this raffle game has a little twist. The first thing we do is pull out one of the cards that has been dropped in here. Now let's talk about this prize real quick. This is pretty awesome. $500 value, and that's not a number they made up. It's on their actual brochure. $500 for the right now. $500 value. You get 20 of your closest friends. Well, you and 19 closest friends. You can choose from 3 different themes: California Dreaming, an inspiring piece of Italy, or the Tour de France. And you get this amazing wine tasting for you and 19 of your closest friends. And the winner of this, and by the way,
John Carlos, sorry, real quickly, we're gonna give people 2 more minutes to buy tickets.
Oh,
so we still have a few more. So we're gonna give it like 2 more minutes.
2 more minutes.
Pull it.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm gonna give a quick update on our fundraising amounts. Let's give a round of applause to this amazing man. We're gonna talk to this guy because speaking of beauty, this was my fiance. Who he was reading her mind, so that might be a dangerous thing for me to learn.
Hey, well, now you know what you want for her birthday, so
yeah, thank you.
And you know her birthday. Yeah,
I owe everything. Okay, we got 2 more minutes. Please buy a card before John Carlos can pull it. I didn't know who the winner is. You already know who the winner is.
Oh, sorry. Oh, no, I don't.
Okay.
Come on, we gotta have some kind of integrity.
Responsible magic. He's a responsible magician.
Come on. We can win the lottery, but we're not gonna rig this thing. Come on.
We're not rigging it. We promise. I did not pay him off, I promise. Okay, just want to give you guys an update. We are currently, from what I'm seeing here, our current fundraising status is $13,049. So we still got about 17,000 to go to dump Jacob.
Why is this a thing?
This is the thing. This is the thing. But you know, okay. So
I mean, if we
going
can
by
get there,
last
I'll
person,
do it.
about one more minute to buy cards here. So raise your hand if you would like to buy a card for this raffle or Into Space game. Go ahead and raise your hand. One of our ushers will come around and do that. And remember what this is all about. This is all about supporting this amazing cause tonight. So please be generous. And then you can drink wine too. Okay, has everyone had an opportunity? So then I think we're going to be about ready here to pull our card. Oh wait.
Oh, we have more. Oh, three more. Wow.
Raise your hands high, jump up and down, sing a song. If you want a card.
Yeah. That's kind of cool. You can choose whether the experience is like a seated class style or a more casual walk around event. So like if you got like an anniversary or a birthday coming up or something, this is actually pretty good. Are we One more? One more. All right. We'll mix these up in here. All right. Now remember, this game does come with a bit of a twist. It wouldn't be the magician's game if it wasn't. So if you do not win, if your card is not drawn right now, you still have a chance to win that prize. You still have a chance to win that prize. It's not automatically done if I don't pull your card out right now.
What do you mean, John Paolo?
Well,
how does that work? How can I win if I'm not in?
Well, see, here's what's gonna happen. If I pull your card out right now, you will get the chance, the opportunity to take home that prize for $200, a $500 value for just $200, or you can risk it and go in 50-50 with the Ace of Spades, which we'll talk about in just a moment if we get there. So first up, the winner of the first phase of this is not a diamond. Not a heart either. It's not a red card. So if you pick the black card, get it out. It's also not a club. It's not a club. The winner of this game is the 9 of spades. Who's got the 9 of spades? Do you know what I mean? Hey! What's your name? Manuel, say it for me. Manuel. It's an amazing package. Worth $500. You get to choose from 3 different experiences, depending on what part of the world you want to try wine from. You can do it classroom style, or you can do walk around. You can even pick 19 people to come with you for free. Well, there's plenty in this room you can pick. Would you like to buy that prize for $200 right now, or do you want to risk it in a 50-50 game? You're gonna risk it? I ain't risking it. He's risking it. All right. We dump out all the other cards. We put your 9 of spades back into the hat. and you are playing against the ace of spades. Now, you had the opportunity earlier to buy a card for $50. And that was going to be a 1 out of 51 potential card spot. Now you have a chance to buy the ace of spades, or we're going to auction it off starting at $50. Starting at $50, the ace of spades, but it is a 50-50. Meaning if you get the ace of spades, it's a 1 out of 2. It's not 1 out of 51. So, do we have anyone in the room who wants to buy a card now, not for 1 out of 2 51 game, but for $50 for this 1 out of 2 shot to win that package? Now keep in mind here, we have $50 right here. We get 75. 75. Anyone for $75? $75. Buy the ace of spades.
The bartender.
Back there. $75. We have $75. By the way, you're seated at tables with like 8 people. You can all chip in like $7 and all go. Just saying. Do I hear 100? Anybody 100? Now I'm not a professional auctioneer, so I don't do the fast talking thing, but I am a mind reader, and I know somebody here has $100 for the ace of spades. $100 right here. $100 right here. 125. Anybody? 125. 125. Anybody? 125. 125. Anywhere in the room? Oh, right here. 125. So 150. Anybody? 150. 150. 150 back there. 150. 150. For 175, anybody? 175. Come on. 175. So the ace of spades. 175. The ace of 175. The ace of spades. 200. You get 200 for the ace of spades. $200. $200, which is what you're getting the deal. You're getting that deal, a $200 deal. That's a 50 chance that he passed up on a few moments ago for $200. The ace of spades. The original deal that you were trying to get when you initially bought cards was $200 for the ace of spades. Anybody $200? 200 back there. Oh. $225. Anybody $225? I can try to do the fast talking. $225, $225, I can't do it. I'm not, that's not my thing. I do other things. $225, everybody. $225. Ace of spades. $225 for the ace of spades. $225. $225 for the ace of spades. $250. $250 for the ace of spades. Again, if you get this, put it in that hat, and it's between you and him. $250 for the ace of spades, anybody. $250 for the ace of spades. You get that $500 rally package. $250, anybody. One. $250. This is awesome. $275? $275, anybody? I can't do the fast talking thing, so we're all gonna have to be faster. $275. $275 for the ace of spades. Anybody say $275? $275.
$250 helps 5 people to clean water. 5 people.
5 people get
clean water. It's a water man.
So we've got at least 5 people.
Yeah. Who wants to help 10 people? Let's go to 500.
Go to 500.
Let's go. Who wants to help 10 people drink water? It's 5.
We're not 5. We're only helping 5 people, guys.
Maybe you go like 10.
Do like a 5. What were we at? We had 272. Yeah, we're going for 275 now.
10 people right there.
Right here. 11 people. 11 people. So we do this?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. And the space goes into the hat. We're helping 11 people. We've already won, but we do have a prize to give away.
Do you want my other half?
And you can do that. This is your half right here. All right. I'm gonna turn the boat face down, okay? Something there a little bit. All right. Go ahead and pick out the winning card for me. And it is the Ace of Spades, ladies and gentlemen. All right, thank you all so much. Again, my name is Bill Carl. I'm going to turn it back over.
Back to you, Carlo. All right. Thank you so much, Carlo. That was fantastic. And I would also like to just point out that our winner over here, who is helping 11 people get clean water in Peru, her husband was in Peru for, I think, 11 years. 14. 14. All right. So go talk to those amazing people. We are going to introduce now our keynote speaker of the evening, long-awaited, but worth the long wait, I know. So we're going to introduce here Joe Christensen. And Joe graduated from the University of Dallas with a master's degree in English. And he founded St. Francis Montessori School in 2009 with his wife Holly, and serves on the board of directors as the president. And Joe started Aqueducts Consulting in 2012, a company that brings business processes to life for enterprise businesses. He lives in Irving, and he and Holly and their children host the St. Francis Montessori community for their annual Oktoberfest. Who's been to the Oktoberfest in this room?
Yeah.
Okay, great, awesome. Joe's a lifelong baseball player and fan, playing for Florida Southern College in Lakeland, Florida, from 1997 to 1999. Let's give it up for our keynote, Joe Christensen.
Hey Joe, I don't want to steal your thunder, but I thought everyone might want to know that we have dessert. We have some nutsy bun cakes over here. Help yourself at your convenience. Joe, I can't wait to hear what you have to say, man. I'm ready to be inspired by you. So thank you everyone so much.
I'm very brief, very brief. And so I would like to also be brief, because it's rude to be less rude than the host of the event. So that second key code word you're supposed to know is your. Your. Okay. All right. Let's give it back to Jim. Let's get one more round of applause.
Hear me okay? All right. Okay, so today I want to talk to you about generosity. We're at a fundraiser, and of course generosity is on everybody's mind, on donating to this awesome cause. But I want to talk to you about generosity as I lived it, as I experienced it, as I saw it happen. And so the theme of this is generosity, and the title of it is We Have a God Who Surprises. Just envision here for a second that we did it. We're done here. This evening was an immense success. You guys gave a lot of money. Here it goes. You also paid for this event, and you gave your time and your resources. And some of you in this room are going to go and donate your time and volunteer at the group. You're gonna be there for this next installation, and it's gonna be amazing, all right? So a little bit of time machine, you're already there, we did it, and you get done with the installation, and there are a couple of kids there. One, a young lady, her name's Carolina, and then a young kid named Bruno, and then they're tagging along their kid sister Noelia. So you have to sit, you're sitting there with those people, you're tired, like you've already been through the celebration and the water installation, and you're looking out basically at this beautiful, desert landscape, and you're wondering what to say to these kids, because you got the water up and everybody's jubilant, right? We're all super happy. I mean, this is a moment, like you're in another country, and you donated your time, you came out of your shoes to be there. Some of you guys actually in this room will be there. So the question here is, what now? What do you say to these kiddos? And I want to point out that when I only heard about Bear Aqua about 5 weeks ago. I met and Jacob. Many props to Adrian Montes who recommended me. He's here today. But I really want to just emphasize that they don't just deliver water to people and go away. They show up in person and do the installs. They teach you how to get your own water. Most importantly, the theme of their whole mission is that they want those people who get clean water to have access to a vocation, so that they can do their life the way that a lot of us have already, but many of us are just starting off and doing it. We have a lovely young table of very young children over there, but I also notice a lot of people in the room who are in their 20s and look like they aren't there yet. By there, I mean whatever Polly and I are celebrating being away from. The noise, the children and the pattering and the squabbling over this and that and the other, right? So what's neat about this is that these guys care about what happens to you after you get your clean water. And a lot of the people in this room are Catholic. Catholics have this word vocation. I think a lot of the people who are not Catholic who are tuned in online, as well as in the room, are not Catholic. The vocation, there is a calling. You hear that a lot in the scripture. And what's awesome about this is that this organization wants those people to have a calling. So I want to talk to you about that. What the calling is and how to respond to it when you get it. And what these people, when you give them the water, what they get when you've made the sacrifice tonight, because you already made it. Like we're already in a time, we're in a time machine. We're in Peru. We're already done. And we're just like we're taking it. Okay, so those three children are my childhood friends. I was only 13 or 14 when I met them. They're from Peru, and they were different when they came into our apartment complex. Because they were from Peru, there are not many people from Peru where I grew up in Southwest Florida, in Fort Myers, Florida. But there were people of every nationality, every ethnicity, every religion, because it was Florida. And we have all of Latin America. We get a lot of people from the Northeast. They're in from everywhere. And so those are my childhood friends. Those are people I know. And what I'm imagining is that those three people that I grew up with, I love those guys. Like the middle one, Carolina, she was my friend. She was my mejor amiga, and I learned Espanol like when I was in Fort Myers, because we had like everybody from Latin America, like I was saying, and Spanish was really prevalent. So I want to ask the question: what do I want for them? We're sitting on this bench and we're tired. We got the water in. We did it. Like mission accomplished. So what is it? What's in it for them now? What is out there for them now? What do they get to go do in their vocation? And so I wrote up. I had to take a step back and ask the question. What happens when you got this provided for you? Now what do you go do with your life? Because that happened to me. Spiritually speaking, I feel like I ran out of water. Hardcore ran out of water. I was 24. I don't know how old you guys are, and I can't read minds like Giancarlo, so I can just guess. But I was 24 and I was in Dallas, and I was sort of washed out of baseball. I was really excited about going into business and doing something in the business world. But I worked for my mom for a year and I was no good at it, like because I couldn't even get out of bed. Anybody here ever not able to get out of bed ever in your life? So like I had it so bad. I got a business degree in college. I was supposed to be smart. And I worked for my mom for a year. I was just like, I just rode lawnmowers and did installation for all these fancy people out on Sanibel Island, Portland. So I was out of water because I wanted to do something with my life. I wanted my life to have meaning. I felt like I was out of the conversation. Like nobody introduced me to the conversation that you ought to have. I found it in the liberal arts out here in Texas. I had never been to Texas. And when we played against the Texas people in baseball, we always just sort of laugh because it's like, look, they're cute, right? They're awesome, the Texas people. They come out here and they think they can play baseball, right? Because baseball in Florida was like a religion. It was like year round. I played it all the time. I grew up playing stickball right in the front yard. And when we hit the ball too hard and we crashed our neighbors' houses, we had to turn around and hit lefty, right? So that we wouldn't hit the houses. So we played all year long, and Texas for me was like never anywhere I want to go. And I'll be honest, but I got here as quick as I could. Okay? I know I had a real awful vibe. But so one really quick thing, William Faulkner, I studied Faulkner in my literature. He says the only time you go to Texas is when you want to change your last name and start over. So and that comes from like so. I came out here to Dallas and I found everything I was looking for, and I found my vocation, but it was after like some intense searching. So I want this for those kids. I want this for my childhood friends specifically. That was my best friend, right? So like, and I dearly love that family. I just pray for them all the time. It's, I want all the best for them because we all grew up in this sort of hard scrabble apartment complex. So what I came up with 5 laws. I wrote laws for this speech. These are actual laws for me. I actually live by these laws, and they're laws of generosity. And so this is what I want for them. I also want it for you. If you don't have these laws in your life, or if you know them by heart because you've already been there, I want these for you, and I want them for those people in Peru. And I want them for those young people who have vocations. I want them for the older people who haven't done a vocation yet. And I definitely want it for the people at Vera Aqua, Vera Vita, because there's some sterling people. The first law, are you ready? We got laws. I think I got 4 laws. All right, so these laws come from, I want to give back here because someone gave really deeply to me. When I came out here to Dallas, I spent 3 months somewhere else renting from some room, and then the rest of the time until I got married to Polly that I spent in the retreat house of the Cistercian monastery here in Dallas. And I was cleaning the chapel and I was manning the front desk and everything, and I befriended the abbot there, Father Dennis Farkas. And if anybody has any Hungarian chops in the room, they'll notice the Hungarian last name. He fled communist oppression. He was the abbot of that monastery very young. He was the headmaster of Cistercian Prep very young. And I wasn't at 24 years old and sort of a tumbleweed. I wasn't really like the caliber of person that he was used to coming out of Cistercian Prep. But I think he saw something in me that was like what was in him. And that was that he fled communist oppression. He was a refugee. He did his novitiate underground, and he had really good friends die in prison at the hands of the Nazis at first, and then at the hands of the Russians. And I felt like a refugee. I come from a divorced family. This is a thing in our culture that is very, very, very lightly spoken of, the divorce culture, but I lived it, I grew up in it, and I vowed when I was a young man never to do that again, never to go back to that. And so the first law that I'd like to present is the law of investment. And this presupposes that you choose somebody. In the Gospel of John, you have John, who's John the Beloved, right? And he's chosen. And the Jewish people, of course, are the chosen. A great television series if you haven't seen The Chosen. But John the Beloved is the chosen, and to invest in somebody, the law of investment means that if I'm sitting there with those Peruvian children, and I have to know their names, I have to invest in them, and I have to take the time to slow down and learn from them. I have to change myself. So I have to choose them, and I can't do that unless I've received that first. You can't give what you don't have. So in this first law, we have to choose. When you enter a room, somebody usually stands out for you. You catch their eyes. It's the way that they carry themselves or what they're wearing. If you're Giancarlo, the magician, you can pick things, right? Like you can read people's minds. So most of us are just going to notice somebody. They're just going to stand out for us, and their face as you scan the room, you'll catch it every time. So I would just say you have to invest, and when you're sitting with those children, you have to invest in them and really pay attention just to them. Know their names, listen to them, listen to what they have to say and what they want in the rest of their life. The second law is the law of squandering. And if there are any parents in the room, you will know deeply what the law of squandering refers to. Is that no matter what you do for someone you dearly, dearly love, and no matter what you give them, they will squander this resource. There's no hope, okay? And I can only say that because I did. I was opposite this guy whom I dearly love. This is my best friend as a young man. The abbot there, he was really a mentor to me, but he just, the way that Jesus says that I call him one of my friends, he was that kind of friend. And he invited me to Thanksgiving dinner. It was a turkey trot day, and I was trying to get back in shape, and I trained too fast, and I hurt my foot, and it sort of threw off the day. And I was like, it's okay. I got done with the race. I'm gonna eat lunch at this my friend's house, and I missed the Thanksgiving dinner. I had the wrong time in my head. I was in the retreat house, and we always ate after everybody. So I was thinking 7 o'clock, but they go to prayer at 6 o'clock. It's like an hour before. And so when I walked into the kitchen, the refectory, I ran in, and he was just coming in out after dinner, after prayer, after everything. And I started fumbling through some sort of excuse. And he just said, he put his hand on my shoulder, and he looked at me and he goes, "Stop. Just say sorry so I can forgive you." It just leveled me because I'm so full of excuses. I didn't want to be that guy who messed up something where this guy was investing so much in me. He had chosen me, right? So I totally squandered the time that day. Your children are going to squander everything. And these people in Peru, even though it's going to be an immense help to them, they will initially, some of them squander the gift badly. And so in this law of squandering, you just do it anyway. You're familiar with Mother Teresa saying that, do it anyway. Just pour into your children anyway, no matter how badly they squander it when they grow up. Don't count the cost. So the third law here is it's the law of wedding. So at a certain point, Patrick, I think, mentioned Tobit, theology of the body. I like 2 weeks into being engaged, we listened to the theology of the body. Christopher West came to town, and the concept of the spousal meaning of the body came through, and it just completely leveled me. Like it was like reading all. It made so much sense for me. I so deeply invested in that after that. But it's the trick here that I did after that was whenever I thought of anybody being a means to an end or possible to be used, I did this trick where I put that person in a wedding and presenting them to the Lord in heaven. He's calling all of us back, and that's basically the meaning, right? So if I look at, I travel a lot, I'm consulting and confidence consulting. I'm around a lot of people. I do the social media thing and everything. And what I vow, this is a trick for anybody who's mid-20s going into their career, is that if I ever was out and I was tempted to, like, in any way break vows on my marriage and act not in accord with those vows, that I would just get on a plane and go home. That it wasn't worth it. It's like, what in the heck is the point in earning the money when you don't have anybody to share with back? And so the vow is the law of the wedding. At some point, those people you're talking to in Peru, they're going to get married, or they're going to have a vocation and they're going to get married to the Lord. So you have to picture people this way in order to be generous. It's the law of the wedding. And when I got married, it's sort of nerve-wracking to be in front of people right now. I'm nervous, because I have to speak and I have to remember how to speak words. It says it's a speak easy, but it's like it's sort of hard. So when I was up there at my wedding, I got to show everybody, the whole world, what I was about and what I wanted to do with my life. It was the best day of my life up until then. After the children came, of course, I was pretty. But up until then, it was the best day of my life. And the dentist was there, the abbot of the monastery. I didn't know he was there because I didn't know he was going to make it. And he sat there and he looked at me and he said afterwards, he said he was moved. And he's such a lion of a man. He helped, found those institutions. And to have him tell me that, it was just moving for me to hear it. I just want to point out that at some point, you're going to be in the audience. And you're going to be looking at those people you helped improve. And you're going to be moved. I'm going to get through the rest of this. I'll pause here every once in a while. And the last thing about the law of wedding is that the passage about the woman at the well. At some point, you're going to help somebody, and that person's going to turn around and tell the entire town, this person told me everything I've ever done. Not Giancarlo. All right, so that's the law of wedding. And then the last one is called the law of surprise. And if you're going to help this person, if you're going to give advice to my childhood friends who are in Peru, who haven't lived their whole life yet, but they're getting into it, the law of surprise. And this is the best tip I can give you if you're young especially, but it also works for everybody else. And that is that you need to surprise God. You need to surprise him with your level best. If you're trying to figure out which career path you're going to take, if you're trying to figure out whether or not to get married or to go and pursue a vocation in the priestly life or the religious life, stop thinking that there's a right answer and a wrong answer. There isn't a right or a wrong. There's only your best surprise that you can level at God. And that's it. That's how you make decisions. That's how you determine your vocation and choose it. And that's how you stay married. That's how you grow a company. And that's how you grow a large nonprofit Montessori school. It's also how you grow an organization that delivers clean water and sanitation to the whole world. Is that you just surprise God to the point where you knock him over. And here's the other side of that law. He's not to be outdone with generosity. That's what our priest said at our wedding in the homily, that God is not to be outdone with generosity. Polly and I crept up on him, got engaged, arranged the entire wedding, and we tried to surprise him. And then he just walloped us with everything that was going to come after. Our 6 children, a Montessori school with 140 children, with 3 locations in Bergen. A big Oktoberfest celebration that draws over 1,000 people to my backyard. He totally surprised us. Surprised us with the children that we have, or not the children we were expecting. We're suspecting. Talk about a surprise. And the last bit about that law is that your generosity lives forever. And here's the best part about it. If you were to die tomorrow, and I don't want any of you guys to die tomorrow, but if you were to die tomorrow, your generosity now and every single day of your life, sometimes when you spend money, the money's gone and you usually have something in exchange, an experience or an asset. That's very business-like, but in this case, when you're generous, it never goes away. The world is forever changed. Your generous decision to get married or to have children or to help somebody in Peru, it completely changes the world forever. And this, my father Dennis, my mentor at the Adventist Cistercian, he passed during COVID. I knew everybody was worried about him because he had had underlying health issues and he had weathered everything, heart issues, you name it. And he passed during COVID. The surprise, he had given a homily that says that the main burden of the whole homily was that our God is a God of surprises, and it was on the assumption of marriage into heaven. And she didn't know what she was going to expect. She just said yes. Over and over again, she said yes. So on this law, I would just encourage you on the law of surprise, just say yes. And be surprised when you get there. All right, so last thing. Guys, this is the moment to be generous. That's my exhortation. That's my invitation. If I knew every single one of you, I would sit down with you personally and I would deeply invest. But that's not how it works. You guys have to do that with one another. I will do it with probably just a few people in my life. You're going to do it the same way. The way that God set it up when he came into the world was that he made certain that the next time you heard about him was from somebody else. He made certain of that. The disciples were really confused on this point, that the next message and all of the message was going to come out through him. So I would like to exhort you to be generous this evening and be generous in your lives. I can't wait to see what you guys do, and I hope it's a huge, huge, huge surprise. So to wrap up, this is an ad hoc thing. It's something that we do in the Catechesis of the Good Shepherd, the atrium at our Montessori school. I am going to not represent this lesson very well because the ladies do it, the catechists do it so much better in our school. But there's this, we've been talking about water all evening, and that's been on my mind for 5 weeks since I heard of this organization. We do this exercise with the children who are only 3 years old and younger, in the 3 years old to 6. And the idea is that it's the part of the Mass, the Catholic Mass, where there's water that's dropped into wine. This whole time that we've been thinking about water, the immensity of God is that of all of these conversations, what we're dropping in is only our contribution into that immense well of divine presence. The children in this exercise have never heard this exercise before, and they are asked questions like, what do you think the wine is? And what do you think the water is? And at 3 years old, this child is able to identify that the wine is God and that the water is us. And at 3 years old, they're able to identify how big is the wine. It's really big. How big are we in comparison to the wine? But just a little bit. The last question is, what happens to the water after it's dropped into the wine? And at 3 years old, that child is capable of knowing for sure that you can never take the water out of the wine. You can't ever disintermingle. Okay? I'm positive that's not it. So this is not my presentation. It's so beautiful. My children know that. My children know that. And they're not gonna grow up in a spot that I grew up. And I want that for all of those children in Peru. And I want that for you guys, for your kiddos, and for everybody, you know, at the Vera Aqua organization. Thank you guys so much for this. I have enjoyed preparing for it. I really enjoyed, you know, looking out at the sea of people gathered here, and I hope you guys are super generous for the rest of the evening and the rest of your lives. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joe. That was an incredible deal there and testimony. Very moving. We're going to now, we just, you know, speaking of generosity, please, I want to remind everyone the way you can be generous this evening to respond to that call, that invitation, is to go online. And there's some ways that you can, what I really want to encourage you right now, because this is so time oriented, so urgent, is to go ahead and check out the silent auction items, because we're in our last 30 minutes for the auction being open. So please go ahead and check those out now. You have 30 minutes for that. I'm going to bring up Jacob now. He's going to come and introduce to us our, he's going to present an award for the Volunteer of the Year. Is Jacob around here? Jacob, let's give it up for Jacob. Thank you so much. You all hear me? Am I mic'd up? Yeah. Do I need to just drop the mic? I have a loud voice. Have I heard anybody's ears tonight? My wife says I heard her ears all the time. I'm pretty excited to be here tonight. We're really excited to be back in person this evening after a 2.5-year hiatus, COVID driven, plus also the decision that we made to go to a fall move from a fall to a spring event also meant that we missed last year, previous year, due to that switch before COVID actually came our way. So just to be back here in person is an accomplishment, success. Thank you all so much. Yeah, awesome. Very, very excited. But what I'm more excited about is to really recognize someone else. Someone that's been making our organization grow. Somebody that has been making our organization reach more people, expanding our social media presence, expanding our email and marketing presence, and just growing with us. As we've grown, I hope that she's grown. I'm hitting at some things. Am I narrowing it down here? Does anybody think I'm narrowing it down here? You all may have already seen this. So if you're really in touch and in tune with VAVV, you already know who I'm talking about. We announced her as our Volunteer of the Year at our end of year report, which we sent out back in early February to summarize our 2021. And I am abundantly excited that not only is she our Volunteer of the Year, but she's about to be our 3rd paid staff member. Praise be to God. We'll be joining our team as Communications Director, joining myself and Ricardo Arbula Guerrera, who is here somewhere in the back here. He was telling you the Aces face cards. I just want to give a shout out real quick. Sorry, not to take anything away. Y'all probably know what I'm already talking about anyway. So keep pointing in their direction, looking in their direction. But I do want to really quickly recognize Ricardo as our Group Projects and Programs Director. Thank you so much for over the last year, just growing our presence in Peru, leveraging relationships, putting your Spanish and English skills, speaking skills to work, putting your attorney skills to work, and really just bringing your passion to it every single day. But wait a minute, because that's not who I'm talking about right now. Well, I mean, it was who I was talking about right then, but that's not who I'm up here to talk about. I'm really excited to introduce to you all our Volunteer of the Year, soon to be Communications Director, coming up here in a few weeks. He's going to join our staff.
Delaney and Margie, please come on up. Words there, and then we're gonna award her the prize.
Sorry, technical difficulties. Thank you so much. Ever since I met Jacob at the University of Dallas Fall 2022 job fair, my eyes were open to the immediate and pressing needs of the water crisis presented to rural communities and so many people really throughout the world. Fatal and chronic diseases plaguing rural communities, children sick in school so they walk miles to get water, and missing opportunities of upward mobility for themselves and their families, and one child dying every 2 minutes to those harsh conditions. That very first exposure ignited a fire in my soul. I truly felt like God had called me to place my talents into that mission. And ever since then, I've been volunteering my skills and talents to help spread VAVV's mission, especially as the communications intern and the founder of the University of Dallas Community Youth Club. I even got the chance to go to the spring 2022 mission trip, which you guys might have seen me in a few of the talks earlier, which was an incredibly powerful experience. Really seeing the positive change and sustainable development that I've been seeing the stats online throughout my time working with VAVV. It's been a great honor to serve in this beautiful mission and to see the organization grow and flourish. I'm incredibly excited to join the VAVV team as the communications director next year, because I know that with the biggest team we've ever had, we'll be able to do the most good in our world. Together with your support, I truly believe we can help put the global water crisis in the history books. Again, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And yeah, we forgot something. You want to come back up here, please? So we have a little gift certificate in honor of Selena and her heart to our organization. I just want to present this to you. We'll stand over here and do this. The opera cap. Oh, my phone. Oh, okay. All right. All right. So thank you so much, Selena. On behalf of Brown for the service, really excited to continue this growth of our time together, as an organization with you growing with us. It's going to be the sky's the limit for us with what the Lord guiding us. So thank you so much. Here you go. And there's something wrong with the picture. Okay, guys, we're on our final stretch here. I did get some word that we might be able to keep our auction open just a few extra minutes, but please don't waste any time. A quick update on our numbers right now. Before I do that, let's go back for our last key word. No, I'm going to give you an update. So we are at $15,000. So we are over 50%. $15,000, $44. So if we can just kind of keep going up there, we are not at junking levels yet. But go online quickly, and we can get there. Please be generous. Let me give you the last key code word, which is thirst. Thirst. So yeah, does anyone have all that?
These are like automatic Caesar
Okay, let's go over here. Yes, sir. What's crazy? That is correct.
I know that.
Something like that. Congratulations. Thanks for being here. All right, and then we have some other winners to announce. I got our updates here.
We have our buckets.
Straight up.
there. Okay. Do we have some winners for our We'll get back to our winners there in just a second. I think that this is going to be a good time now to go ahead and bring up Jacob again. Jacob obviously is the man, the great very good man, and he's the one. He's our water expert. So he's the one who's going to kind of give us an idea of what your contributions are specifically going towards, and kind of some updates on what your operations are. Sorry to come back up here again. I don't want you guys to have to hear my voice, but got that grinding, gravelly kind of annoyance, you know? No, I'm just trying to humble myself. That's a pretty prideful. So I gotta throw some gravel at myself to put myself in my place. No, seriously though, hey, thank you all so much. $15,000, right? Okay, I think that's where we're sitting. And honestly, we're making some estimations on cash, we're making some estimations on check. We know we have a number of major donations coming in still. This number is probably lower than what we actually have. So I'm up here this evening. Each of you should have a program in front of you. If you do not raise your hand, someone will get one to you. Lean over your neighbor. Turn to the second page. Flip the inside. There's a QR code. It's on the back side of the title page. All right. Scan that QR code, or if you've really been staying in tune with us, take one of your little promo cards that was given to you hopefully at the check-in table. Scan that. That will take you to a landing page. A landing page. For one, yes, you can see what we've been up to. You can see our work. You can see our impact. All right, visit that page. And while you're doing that, I want to share with you a couple of updates. By the way, my watch is loving me tonight. Steps, activity. I don't walk this much at home, all right? I mean, kids, I chase my son Luke around a lot. My daughter Maria is not walking yet, but I have to carry her a lot. I get something, nothing like I'm getting tonight. So this is really cool. Praise be to God. Derailed. Here's the thing. I want to share with you the impact of your gift tonight. For every $50 we raise, if it's seen on the PowerPoint, Patrick's mentioned it. Every $50 we raise, on average, because every community, every project is different, but every $50 we raise, we can give clean water to one person for generations to come. Hey, can I hear the pause that? $50! One person! They don't have to worry about their clean water anymore. They're you. They are you. You don't have to worry about it. But right now, unless we do something to help it, they do. Every 90 seconds, a child is dying of waterborne illness somewhere in the world under the age of 5. This is a life condition. I'm sorry I'm getting emotional. That's a life issue. We need to do something about it. But we don't want to just give them clean water that lasts for 2 years, 5 years, even 10 years. We want to give them clean water that lasts their lifetime and their children's lifetime and their children's lifetime. And you know what? Every $50 you give, you can do that. Generation over generation over generation. So our mission is sustainable. It's lasting. We focus on empowerment, inclusion, impact. We need to longevity. So, why am I telling you all this? I'm telling you all this because you can do something about that tonight. You've had a great evening. There's been many, many ways you've been able to support us this evening. Our silent auction, still going on. By the way, we're actually extending it another half an hour. It's going until 9:30. All right? So get in there after this main program is over. There's the wine and whiskey pool. Hey, they're going to be coming around. We got Joe over here waving his hands. He's selling bottles. $40 a bottle for a liquor, $20 a bottle for wine. That is 100% impact of VAVV. All of that was donated. Thanks to our generous supporters. you're going to hear about before the evening closes. Okay. I just want you to know, silent auction, wine and whiskey, gold raffle ticket, unfortunately, that's closed. But if you bought one, thank you so much. That's impacting. General raffle ticket, that's impacting. Ace of Spades game, that's impacting. But you know what the real impact is? Not just for us, not just for the people that we're serving, not just for the need and the impact of the global water crisis, but for you. When you give, you unlock generosity in your heart. You build up treasure in the kingdom of heaven. Hey, give somewhere. That's my first challenge. Give somewhere. Give to anything that has an impact. Feel what you are called to give to and give to it. But hey, if it's us, oh, let's do this. Seriously, if you feel called to give to us tonight, I can promise you, you are building up treasure in the kingdom of heaven. Because when you give $50, you save a life. When you give $250, you save 5 lives. When you give $5,000, who can do math in here? I mean, I can do that. I want to help. I want to get an interaction. How many lives are saved when we give $5,000? 100 people. How much have we raised tonight so far? Approximately, right? I gave you, I think it's low. How much? Who was listening? 15,000? How much clean water have we been able to give to people? 300 people have, no, not just then, right? Oh, 300 multiplied generation over generation. So, give tonight and unlock generosity in your heart. Build up treasure in the kingdom of heaven. Because that's what it's about. When you give, that's like giving up your dinner. That's like taking your wife. Love my wife, love my children. I love being a father. I love being a husband. It's hard. But we spend $50 like easy going out to the restaurant. Easy. Imagine if we were doing a little bit of sacrifice. Hey, honey, like tonight, like I know like we had a hard day at work. Like my wife works full time, I'm working full time. Praise be to God for my wife. She's like, she's a sugar mama. Like I mean, goodness gracious. Like I'm not bringing in enough to support our family by myself. Okay. Praise be to God for my wife. But look, if I tell my wife, hey, look, honey, I want to eat in tonight because you need to do something. We got to stop eating out. Just doing that one time, we're saving at least $50. Easy, at least $50. And we eat in a lot, so I'm making it sound like we eat out all the time. Not true in the slightest. But what if we made that decision? What if you made that decision tonight? What if you made that decision to say, my next meal with my husband, my wife, my girlfriend, my buddies, my girlfriends, we're going to eat it in. We're not going to go out. I'm going to cook. You just save $50. You know what? When you do that, you can give that $50 to us, and we can save someone's life. You gave up a meal, you gave a life. So, what are we up to? We're doing that in Peru right now. We have 2 projects right now where we are breaking ground, as you saw in the video earlier. We broke ground construction for 2 communities, giving clean water to 2,000 plus people by the end of the year. We have 5 other communities in the pipeline. In Pure alone, we're building relationships. We're expanding our reach. We're going to save 2,000 plus lives this year. How much money do we need to raise to do that? What's 2,000 times 50? On average. 100,000. Think about that. How much have we raised so far? 15,000? Wow, amazing. 300 lives. 2,000 people. We need to raise more. The need is there. So, you'll know it's coming. I mean, you don't know. Just laugh, just let it out. You know the ask is coming. But it's not just an ask. Because we have a generous donor in this room tonight that has offered to match dollar for dollar up to $2,500 tonight. We're going to pass the hat. We're going to go onto the website on that QR code that you guys hopefully visit. You're going to give there. You're going to give via check, cash, credit card, debit card. And when you give, you're building up treasure in the kingdom of heaven. You're saving lives. Every $50 you give, you save a life. So, if you really want to take your impact to the next level, take advantage of this offer. This match, and as well as, let's just get to this $30,000 goal. Let's just blow this out of the water. The auction's still open. Give, please. By the grace of God, when you give, you're unlocking generosity. I don't want you to give for our sake, or I do want you to give for the sake of the people that we're serving, but I want you to give for your sake. Because it's so freeing in your life. Trust me, from someone that has given his entire life to this organization, that has a sugar mama that supports me right now. We're trying to change that. We're working on that. But seriously, give for your sake. Give up that meal. Give $50. And you know what? If you visit our website, you go to the QR code on your program, on the little card that was given to you. If you bid in the silent auction, remember what you're giving for. And remember, if you really want to have a long, lasting impact, not just tonight, you can give monthly to us on that QR code website. There's a link, a button you can click on. It'll take you to our donate page, from whence you can set up a monthly recurring gift. Right now, I'm going to give you some real numbers. All right, let me give you some real factual numbers. Right now, our funding for the year, before this evening, before anything actually even factoring in and related to this fundraiser event, $58,000. What is our public fundraising goal this year? Why I say public is because we have some security for some significant amount of funding from the pure regional government that we're not factoring in here. But our public fundraising goal is $281,000. That might seem like a reach. You know what that's going to allow us to do? That's going to allow us to bring clean water to 5 more communities in the next few years after this year. That's going to allow us to bring clean water to the entirety of the 2 communities that we're already serving and 5 more. We're talking about 7 to 10,000 people based on the estimates that we've been given of the populations of these communities. Right now, we have 118 people. Sorry, I have dyslexia. It's not dyslexia, I just can't read. 116 people at $50 a month equivalent getting to us monthly. That's awesome. And this is a modest goal that we have here. We want to get to 131 people giving at $50 a month. That's clean water for 1 person. By the end of the year, that's only, what is that? You do the math, 15 people more at $50 a month? I think we could do that tonight. Let's blow this out of the water. And I'm pun intended there. So, you have many ways to give tonight. We're going to pass the hat. It's hopefully going around right now. Hopefully, has anybody started passing the hat? I see the hat still here. Can we get this hat over to Emmanuel? $2,500 match. Let's get this goal tonight. $2,500. Let's get to $30,000 tonight. $2,500 match. Dollar for dollar, up to $2,500. Cash, check, credit card, debit card, Venmo, PayPal. If you haven't noticed, we like to give you pretty much every possible way you can give us. You can also go to our website and give that way too. Please help us hit this goal. That would mean we have $5,000 raise. That's clean water for 100 people. Please consider this tonight. We're going to be passing the hat for the remainder of the main program as Patrick wraps us up, and then we're going to come back out here and we're going to see how we've done. And look, love you all. Whether you give $5 or $5,000, whatever you give because you will unlock generosity. Thank you so much. Remember, why we do this. For those that we're serving, for the greater glory of God. I am fine literature is wine, and mine is only water, but everybody likes water. Thank you, Mark Twain, for giving me that quote to share to close out my talk. Thank you all so much. All right, guys, so you heard the man. This is the hour, this is the time. So the hat is going around. Please be as generous as you can. Let's go. We're going to announce some fun things here as we are wrapping up. I'm going to announce some winners that we have. I do have some updates now on some of our games and raffles that we have. So, by the way, just a quick word on the raffle winners. There were 3 different prizes for some of the general raffles. I don't actually have the information for which prize you won, but I have the 3 names of people who won. And Aqua is going to contact you, tell you which prize you won and how to get it to you. There is, do they need to pick up the wine prize here though tonight? Yeah, okay, so we'll let you know if you got the wine prize. Okay, so first of all, our buckets of water challenge. This is where you're supposed to guess the weight. So the person who is the best person in this room at guessing water weight is, maybe just like a little drum roll, is CJ Banda. There's the man, there's the man. Good job, sir. You are a great guesser of water weight.
32.
It was actually 32. All right, yeah, very good, very good. You were the closest. Thank you. Okay, great. So here's some of our general raffle winners. Remember, we have 3 general, these are called the general raffle winners. These are the raffle tickets online. So drum roll for our first one. We have Mike Grossman. Mike Grossman. Is Mike here? Mike?
Hey, that's my godfather. You must have won online. Hey, did you know that you could also win online?
Okay, that's one of our couch surfers. Okay, let's go to our next one here. Sorry, I gotta figure out how to look at this. Our next drum roll. Second winner is Caitlin Bender. All right, Caitlin is back there. Congratulations. Again, we'll be contacting you which prize you got. And then our last general raffle winner, drum roll, is Stan Schweiderman. Stan, thank you. Congratulations. Okay, and then the big raffle winner. This is our golden raffle ticket. This was a huge prize, I think, like gold. And you're gonna go on this big vacation. So raise your hand if you bought a golden ticket. Anyone buy a golden ticket? Okay, so there's some hopeful people in the room. Let's give a drum roll for our golden raffle winner. It goes to Cesar Carrasco Franco. See here? Nope.
But you can still win because it's all online.
Oh man, he's talking about couches. Okay. All right, guys. So again, right now I'm seeing our status just over $15,000, but I think that's going to change quite a bit in just a little bit. The hat is going around, so please remember that. Okay, this is just kind of the time we're going to have some live music and dancing that's going to happen in just a couple minutes. I just want to give a last shout out to the people that made this event possible tonight. Like, let's not forget those people. So the first shout out we want to do is to Herman Marshall Distillery. Thank you guys so much for your support. We have a lot of sponsors tonight. There's different sponsorship levels that you can contribute towards for that were available for this specific event. So I'd like to thank our Charleston sponsor level, that's $2,500. That's Absolute Equine and fully promoted Carrollton by Carrollton. Tonight, that's $1,250. Goes to Aqueducts Consulting and Informational Data Technology. Thank you guys. And then our swing dance level, our basic marketing at $750. Goes to Plumber, to Westfall Engineering, and to Unified Building Sciences and Engineering. Our people sponsors go to the Ted family and to the Margie Brennan family. Okay, tonight's food, if you enjoyed your dinner tonight, you can thank Maggiano's Little Italy, Olive Garden, and Nothing But Cakes. Let's get a hand up for them. And our drink this evening by Ben E. Keith, given by Ben E. Keith. Thank you so much, guys. And then, of course, we have several entertainers this evening. So we had our beginning cocktail hour performer, Emily Miles, and we have, of course, Giancarlo Bernini. And then we also, of course, will have tonight our performing band is going to be the Dave Washburn Jazz Band. So and then finally, just to all of the Vera Aqua's other benefactors, sponsors, volunteers, of course, to Jacob. I'd like to also, Mecca has done a huge amount of work this evening. All right, guys, thank you so much. And we're going to close our auction at 9:30. So that's the official, you got 30 more minutes. So if you were listening to all the talks diligently, just remember you can go back there and still bid for 30 more minutes. And we're going to get our music and dancing going. Thank you so much for coming out tonight, everyone. Have a great evening. Hey, we haven't hit our $2,500 match yet. Who wants to help us hit a $2,500 match? It's been more than 100 people for generations to come. Anybody? Raise your hand. Somebody will come visit with you. Somebody will come visit with you. We got one right here. We got one right here. Anybody else? We got one right here. 3 people. We got 3 people that want to help us hit our match. How many people are here in this room tonight? Anybody have any idea? I know, probably. Anybody got a guess? Anybody got a guess? Just shout out numbers. Shout out numbers. How many people are in the room tonight? Okay. 80, 113. Wow, that's pretty big. 30. All right, what else? What else? What else? How many other guesses? 299. Oh, I think you need to work on your count, buddy. How many? 76. Yeah, well, at this exact moment, maybe a little bit less. But we're actually 120 plus at one point this evening. Total people here. If every person, well, let's just round it down to 100. All right, if every person gave clean water to one person for generations to come by giving $50, how much money would that be? $5,000. We have a $2,500 match. We only need to do half of that. Let's do this. We may have done it. I don't know. We got a lot of stuff coming in online, but hey, thank you all so much. The evening is not over. The love of jazz music will cap off our evening on this Roaring 20 Speakeasy. Hey, it's been the bee's knees. It's been the bee's knees with y'all. Wine and liquor poll will be going until the end of the night. We don't want to take any bottles home. I love to drink liquor. I love to drink wine. I don't want to take them home though. It's a lot of work to pack all that up. So buy a few bottles, support the cause, walk away with some liquor and wine. Thank you all so much for this evening. Thank you, Patrick, our MC, for hosting us. And also for the prayers. God bless you all. Together we can give true water, true life.
All done. That's right. We're so good. I do another issue. All done. Sorry for the raising the voice. I guess I'll keep it on. I'll keep it on. Yeah, I'll keep it on. Okay, so I'm about to turn it off. Sorry.
Oh my God.
Yes.
really hard for me to rip up some of the stuff that people around most like bring out really like less people come out a little bit. Yeah, but I don't want to be like beating up on people walking around. So I'm gonna keep it. I'm back to this. I gotta think outside. I'm like just gonna take a nap right here. All right.
It's been a while. No, the natural. No, I didn't go to the conference. Oh, you didn't go? I was my sister's wedding. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's one thing. You go? No. But yeah. Huh? I know, that's what I'm saying. Why is he using this live
Okay.